Hi, good morning. Today we are going to discuss one theorem, and the theorem is let K be a finite extension of degree n of a finite field f of p raised to r elements. Okay, of p raised to r element. Then g of k over f is cyclic of order n and it is generated by sigma p raised to r where for alpha belongs to k, sigma p raised to r of alpha equal to alpha raised to p raised to r. Once again, let k be a finite extension of degree n of a finite field f. So k is a finite extension of a finite field f means is of degree n means degree of k over f is equal to n. Clear? And if it's a field of f of p raised to r element, that means cardinality of f is equal to p raised to r. Then the result says that g of k over f is cyclic and order of g of k over f is equal to n and it is generated by sigma p raised to r. What about g of k over f? This consists of group of all automorphism on K leaving F fixed. So this consists of automorphism. And, yes, this theorem says that sigma p raised to r is a generator of this group. Okay, that means we have sigma p raised to r is some number a is a generator of a finite group means a raised finite group of order n means a raised to n is equal to e and a raised to n not equal to e. Okay, suppose G is any group with some order n and A is a generator means cyclic group generated by A equal to G. That means A raised to n is equal to E. Then only we say that then only we can say that A is a generator for G and this group is cyclic. Okay, so here generator is sigma p raised to r and sigma p raised to r is generator means what is the meaning of that? Sigma p raised to r and it is a group of order n. Order is to n is equal to the identity element or this is the identity automorphism. Okay, and where sigma p raised to r is defined as sigma p raised to r of alpha equal to alpha raised to p raised to r. Hope the statement is clear. Okay, now moving to the proof. Given that f is a finite field and we have one result, every finite field is perfect, that means every finite extension is a separable extension. Okay, this implies that every finite extension of f is a separable extension. As k is a finite extension of f, using this result, k is a separable extension of f. That means index of k over f is equal to degree of k over f. But degree of k over f is n. Therefore, index of k over f is n. What is index of k over? Number of automorphisms on k leaving f fixed. Okay. Now, as f is a finite field of characteristic p, okay, finite field, it is of characteristic p for some prime p because every field is either of a prime characteristic or of characteristic 0. Therefore, here characteristic of f is either a prime number. It is a finite field, okay, for some prime p. So, if characteristic p, then clearly order of f is equal to what is order of any field? Any field is of characteristic p. For any field of characteristic p, clearly set p is a subfield. If set, that means f is an extension field of set p. Set p consists of p element, and we have one theorem: extension field consists of some if suppose f and this is e, if f is of characteristic, sorry, if f consists of q elements, then E consists of q raised to n elements. Okay, so here set P consists of p elements. Therefore, f must cardinality of f must be equal to some p raised to r. Okay, for some r. Therefore, cardinality of f is equal to p raised to r for some r. Now, as index of k over f is equal to n, cardinality of k equal to what is cardinality of f? F is p raised to r, and this is n. That means cardinality of k is p raised to r whole raised to n, which is equal to p raised to rn. Okay. Now, just using this theorem, if this cardinality of k equal to p raised to rn elements, then the non-zero elements of finite field form a cyclic group. Okay, that means if you take any non-zero elements of this set, then that form a cyclic group. Hence, non-zero elements of K form a cyclic group of order P raised to Rn minus 1 element, because K consists of P raised to Rn elements that includes 0 also. Okay, non-zero elements means P raised to Rn minus 1. So, if alpha is any non-zero element in K, then alpha actually K minus 0 is of order P raised to Rn minus 1. Okay, P raised to Rn minus 1. So, if you take any element alpha belongs to G and cardinality of G equal to n implies alpha raised to n is equal to must be the identity element. So here if you take any alpha belongs to k minus 0, then alpha raised to p raised to rn minus 1 is equal to 1. This implies alpha raised to p raised to rn minus 1 means by alpha equal to 1. That means alpha raised to p raised to rn is equal to alpha for every alpha belongs to k minus 0. Okay. Now here if you take 0, so clearly 0 raised to p raised to rn is equal to 0. That means alpha raised to p raised to rn is equal to alpha for every alpha belongs to k. Now, from this, it is clear that every element of k is a 0 of the polynomial x raised to p raised to n minus x. Because here this is true for every alpha belongs to k. That means every alpha belongs to k is a 0 of this polynomial x raised to p raised to rn minus x, because we have alpha raised to p raised to rn is equal to alpha for every alpha belongs to k, and this you can write as x raised to p raised. If you consider the polynomial x raised to p raised to rn minus x, then clearly alpha is a root of that polynomial. That means every element of k is a 0 of this polynomial. But we know that x raised to p raised to rn minus x is at most p raised to rn zeros. If you consider some any polynomial x raised to n minus etc. degree n, this has at most n zeros. Therefore, here degree is p raised to r raised to n. Therefore, this at most p raised to rn zeros. Okay. But what about the cardinality of k? Cardinality of k is p raised to rn, and x raised to p raised to rn has at most p raised to rn zeros. That means every element of k is a 0 of this polynomial. That means k is a splitting field of x raised to p raised to rn minus x over f. Okay. Thus we get k is a splitting field over f, and here we get k is a separable extension of f, and now we get k is a splitting field over f. That means k is a finite separable extension of f, and it is also a finite splitting field over f, and this implies k is a finite normal extension of f. K is a finite normal extension of f, and using our result, if it is a normal extension, we get this one. Cardinality of g of k over f is equal to index of k over f. But earlier we get index of k over f is n. Index of k over f is n. That means g of k over f is equal to cardinality of g of k over f is equal to n. Okay. This cardinality of g of k over f is equal to n. So we get g of k over f is of order n. Now we have to prove this is a cyclic rule. So before that we have to note something. We have cardinality of k is p raised to rn. Therefore, if A belongs to K, then A raised to P raised to Rn is equal to E, because G is order of G is equal to n, then A belongs to G implies A raised to n must be equal to E. So here A raised to P raised to Rn must be equal to E. Now 1 belongs to K, and if we take addition operation 1 plus etc plus 1, this is P raised to Rn times, and which is equal to 0. Okay, because some element raised to Rn is equal to E. E means here identity element. Now this is same as P raised to Rn into 1. Okay, and which is equal to 0, because as a field has either characteristic 0 or P for some prime P, case of field characteristic P. Okay, so case of characteristic P means P into 1 must be equal to 0. Okay, so this is equal to 0. Now consider the Frobenius automorphism sigma P from K to K defined by sigma P of A equal to A raised to P. Now what is sigma P square of A? That is sigma P of sigma P of A, and sigma P of A raised to P. That is A raised to P whole raised to P, and that's equal to A raised to P square. Proceeding like this, we get sigma P whole raised to R of A equal to A raised to P raised to R. As sigma P is an automorphism, sigma P whole raised to R is also an automorphism, and sigma P whole raised to R is, you can define like this, sigma P raised to R. Okay. Therefore, sigma P raised to R is an automorphism from K to K, and it is defined as sigma P raised to R of A equal to A raised to P raised to R. Okay, this is actually a notation. Sigma P raised to R is defined as sigma P raised to R. Okay, so by definition, sigma P raised to R of A equal to A raised to P raised to R. Now let A belongs to F. Since cardinality of F is equal to P raised to R, non-zero element. Since cardinality of F equal to P raised to R, non-zero element of F form a group under multiplication. Therefore, A raised to P raised to R minus 1 is equal to 1. Okay, that means A raised to P raised to R divided by A equal to 1. This implies A raised to P raised to R is equal to A. Therefore, if A belongs to F, then sigma raised to P raised to R of A equal to A raised to P raised to R, which is equal to A. That means sigma P raised to R of A equal to A for all A belongs to F. That means sigma P raised to R is an automorphism on K which leaves F fixed, because if you take any A belongs to F, this condition satisfies. Okay. Therefore, sigma P raised to R belongs to G of K over F. Okay, this is an automorphism on K. Leaving F fixed means sigma P raised to R belongs to G of K over F. Okay, now we have to prove every element is a power of some sigma P raised to R. This is what we have to show. Now sigma P raised to R, you can write as sigma P whole raised to R. Sigma P raised to R I equal to sigma P whole raised to R, sigma P whole raised to R I times sigma P raised to Ri of alpha equal to this of alpha, and sigma P raised to R of alpha raised to P raised to R, that's equal to alpha raised to P raised to R of whole raised to P raised to R, and like this. Okay, so this is I minus 1 times, this is I minus 2 times, again repeatedly apply. Okay, and finally we get this is alpha raised to P raised to R into P raised to R, that's equal to alpha raised to P raised to 2R. And if we apply here also, we get alpha raised to P raised to 3R, etc. I minus 3 times. This repeatedly applying, we get this is equal to alpha raised to P raised to IR. Thus we get sigma P raised to I of alpha equal to alpha raised to P raised to IR, which is equal to alpha raised to P RI. Okay. Since G of K over F is a group, sigma P raised to R in G of K over F implies sigma P raised to R I also belongs to G of K over F. This implies that for every alpha belongs to a sigma P raised to R of I of alpha equal to alpha, because that belongs to G of K over F. Therefore, every element of F fixed. Okay, every automorphism in this group leaves every element of F fixed. That means this of alpha equal to alpha for every alpha belongs to F. That is alpha raised to p raised to ri equal to alpha. That means alpha is a zero of the polynomial x raised to p raised to ri minus x. But a polynomial of degree p raised to ri can have at most p raised to ri zeros. Okay, the number of zeros is maximum. This must have maximum p raised to ri zeros. Okay, hence a polynomial of degree p raised to rn can have at most p raised to rn zeros in the field. Now all the elements of K are zeros of the polynomial x raised to p raised to Rn minus x implies alpha raised to p raised to Rn minus alpha equal to 0. That means for every alpha belongs to K, this implies that alpha raised to p raised to Rn is equal to alpha. Now alpha raised to p raised to Rn you can replace like this, sigma p raised to n of alpha equal to alpha. Okay, and which is equal to I of alpha. That means sigma p raised to r whole raised to n is equal to I. This is the identity permutation. Hence, the smallest power of sigma p raised to r that could possibly leave all the p raised to rn elements of k fixed is the nth power. Hence, order of sigma raised to p raised to r in g of k over f is at least n, since cardinal to g of k over f is equal to n, and here we get order is equal to n, g of k over f is cyclic and it is generated by sigma p raised to r. Okay, that's all for today's class. Hope everything is clear.